Yo, 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 it's your boy Miles Cunningham. I'm here with RKT Appraisals. I always need to do this shit before we get on, and I always forget. Hold on. We here with RKT Appraisals, Rashidi Lucario and Kayleen Smith. You know what I'm saying? If Rashidi will kind of situate his camera so I could get his face in the middle of the thing. There you go. All right, there it go. Got to be a professional, man. Come on, man. The people looking at you, man. Yeah, so rktappraisals.com, phone number 973-420-5028. Man, we got a hot topic for y'all today, man. We talking about how it takes two incomes to raise a family these days, right? And because of that, it's making these women think that they're more special than they really are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going look, RKT Appraisals ain't going to really talk about that. You understand? Because RKT Appraisals give financial advice to men, women, children, everybody. You understand? So I'm not trying to put them in no type of hot water with their clients. But my name is Miles Cunningham. Y'all know what I do. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I fucks with the shits. You feel me? I'm with the shits. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the smoke. You feel me? So, but if y'all want to start it off real quick, how do y'all feel about, from a financial perspective, especially comparing like how it was back in the day to how it is these days? Like, how do y'all really, what's your perspective of the fact that it takes two incomes to raise a family these days?
I'm gonna take a crack at it. This is how I feel about it. Obviously there was roles.
And hold on, and remember, you are representing RKT Appraisals.
Absolutely.
You got a business to protect. Don't be like me. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, go ahead.
Definitely. So now, when it comes to income, right, and when it comes to the household, when it comes to roles, right, there's so many different variables on how the finances work.
Facts.
Now, traditionally. The man is the leader of the household. Hence, he takes care of all the bills, right? Traditionally, that was when the man had the job. That was when the woman stayed home and took care of the children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that these days. Not everybody's working. Everybody has equal opportunities. If not, women have more opportunities than men in certain situations, right? So in my opinion, when it comes to the household, right, it doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50, but it doesn't have to be to where it's all on one person or the man to like control all the finances in the home.
Mm-hmm.
I could honestly say, me and my lady, we're partners. We're business partners. We're partners in life. So what does that mean? I still take the role in certain things as a man. I still lead in certain situations. There might be certain things that she might be better at than I am. So she'll lead in those areas. Doesn't necessarily take away from my role and who I am. But as far as the actual contributions to what I put into the home,
right.
I take care of certain things and she'll take care of certain things. Certain things we'll take care of together.
Right.
And that's just how I look at it.
Nice. All right, Rashid. What's your take on it, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with Kayleen. I mean, I think it's one of those things where you don't need to get it confused. Men are still leaders of the house. You know what I mean? Nobody's disputing that. We're still leaders of the house. You know what I mean? I
don't care how much money you make.
Exactly.
Shit,
so
I'm the one with the penis. Therefore, I am the leader. All right, go ahead.
Nah, men is still a leader. I think it's just one of those things where times have changed where women contribute more financially. So they definitely have more say-so. But ultimately, in the end, it's still, I still think it still follows the traditional way of following the man as a leader. What do I mean by that? It's one of those things where, all right, back in the day, like Katie said earlier, that the guy was a breadwinner, so he brought in 90% of the income, 100% of the income in the month that the wife took care of the household. Nowadays, more so where women are almost making as much as men, not quite yet, but making as much as men. So now it may be more of a 30-70 split, 60-40 split. But typically, we're still the leaders, and you still have to be a leader as a man. And, women will still follow and submit. I think it's just one of those things where they just have more of a contribution because the dynamics have changed. So now they might, depending on the relationship, but they have more say in stuff that they never really jumped in before. Like, okay, you spend money on XYZ, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. Whereas before it's kind of, listen, you know what I mean? I bring the bread home, you divvy out the money, but now we're not just divvying out the money. Now she's contributing money, so now she could throw her 2 cents in as far as how money should be spent. And we got to listen. But at the end of the day, we still take the lead. We still take the male roles of take out the garbage and things of that nature. You know, just that we take a little bit more input from women, you know, a little bit more. But yeah, that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Well, listen, we like, for example, Rashidi, we were speaking a little bit earlier, and you mentioned something about, you know, reckless spending. You understand? Now, in the frame of, like, you know, women love shoes, women love bags, you know, women love to spend money. Let's be honest. I mean, men love to spend money too, but, you know, women shop emotionally. You understand what I'm saying? Like, women, I know women. I don't know. There's not one woman I don't know that don't like walking around Target. Like, just walking around the motherfucker. Like, just walk. Babe, where you going, babe? I'm just gonna go to Target. For what? I don't really need nothing. I just like walking around Target. And I'm like, what? How? Because if a guy is going for a walk, usually he gonna walk around the neighborhood or he gonna go to the park. How the hell a woman, when she gotta take a walk, it gotta be all these products that she could buy around the walk? Like, it's chicks out here that love just walk, that love to go to the mall to walk. Like, they don't like just walking. They gotta go to the mall.
Right.
Like, I'm straight up, like, they put on their walking shoes, they put on their sweatshirt and their sports bra, and they go to the fucking mall. You understand what I'm saying? So tell me about, like, you know, how do you suggest, you know, because maybe we could talk about this on another show, like the actual mechanics of budgeting and, you know, reining in our spending. You know what I'm saying? But speak to a little bit of, you know, the whole spending and budgeting idea when it comes to the, you know, the fact that now we have to regard that there's a 2-income situation. We have to regard that the woman is bringing in a certain amount. So she's going to have a little bit of say so. She's going to have a little bit of influence about how the money is spent. Right. But how does that relate to, like, the whole, you know, budgeting and making sure that we don't spend crazy and put the family in jeopardy?
Yeah, I think it goes back to earlier what we were talking about as far as we're still being the leaders and we reel it in. What do I mean by that? Because she's contributing more, we have to respect that. Right. And we all have to move like a unit. So we're all trying to accomplish things. So that's the perfect example where she wants to go to Target, she wants to go to the mall and spend a little bit extra money because she's making more money. So she wants to spend a little on herself. Nothing wrong with that. I think where the male role comes in, just my perspective, where the male role comes in is just reeling it in. Like, listen, you contributing, you can spend a certain amount, but putting her on a budget with her own money to a certain extent. And it's vital to have that conversation of just like, listen, I'm not putting you on a budget because you're a little kid, but I'm putting you on a budget because I'm still the leader and we still want to go on that vacation. So instead of you buying that extra $50 gift card, you can go ahead and spend $10 and we'll keep that extra $40 in the bank so we can go on a vacation that we want, but we still know deep down you love that vacation more. But we enjoy vacation, but we're working together as a unit. And I think it's all about just reeling it back in because you are making money. You do deserve to treat yourself, but you got to treat yourself in moderation and follow the budget, like you were saying earlier on, Miles. You know, it's just really having that conversation and reeling it back in and letting them have and feel like they have control. And not that feel have control, but they have some type of control. But just like, listen, when you let your emotions take you away, I'm going to reel you back into reality and give you real numbers and say, listen, we're still a leader. We're still giving you numbers. We're still the head of the finances, and we're going to need to do this stuff because, truth be told, we work together to accomplish all them goals. Like, you know what I mean? If one person's spending recklessly and really moving like more of a unit now in finances and other stuff as men and women, then listen, we got to accomplish those goals. We can't go on that nice vacation and have a $5,000 budget if you waste some money. You know, we can't go on 2 vacations. You know, we can't throw those 5 barbecues during the summer because we got to pay for all those hamburgers and all that and host guests if you waste money on X, Y, Z. So you got to lay the foundation, say you pick and choose what things you want to do, what's the most important, and we'll lay them out and set the money accordingly. You know, that's kind of my take.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, just kind of piggyback for a little bit of Rashidi was saying, when it comes to that, remember, women are emotional thinkers. They move with their emotions. They think with their emotions. That's how they maneuver. Men were more logical thinkers, right? So when it comes to money, money doesn't understand emotion. Money understands logic. So we have to be in control when it comes to the money to an extent. Like if the woman is making more than the man, it's still the man's job to still be shadowing where the money's going in, the ins and the outs of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to affect both of them if their finances are not in order. And the woman is like overspending. She doesn't have a budget. In my opinion, what do I say? There should be a joint account for the man and the woman. Then there should be and with that joint account, it consists of everything that household has to take care of. And then the man should have his account, and then the woman should have her account. And if the woman, if she runs out of money, or if she overspends in her account, that's on her. Now she has to wait until she gets more money in her account, and she's gonna feel it. And then what the man's job is to do. Also,
honey, can I borrow a 20 to go to Target until I get paid?
Absolutely not. You can't borrow a thing because you have your own account, and whatever's in your account, that's what's in your account. But it's really just tough love, and it goes beyond that. It just like lets you know how important it is to make sure that you're monitoring your finances, because you're both affected by it in the end result.
Thanks. So Lucario, the basic question was, like budgeting and, watching the money in reference to the fact that, being that in modern days, it takes two incomes to kind of raise a family to keep things going,
right.
But we still have to struggle with the dynamics of, even though you're the man, you're the leader, and
right.
she's the helpmate, but she's also bringing in money. So it's like, how do you navigate that terrain? You know what I'm saying? As a man.
Right. I mean, well, that's again, I think y'all kind of covered it as far as there has to be the person who's managing the situation. And that I think that should be the man. Basically, I always hear this thing where guys say they come home and they give their wives the check or some stupid shit like that. And so
shout out to Antoine Jackson in the chat.
Right, what up, Antoine Jackson? But they just hand the wife the check, and see, there's nothing wrong with handing the wife the check if you're still managing how the money is allocated. So you tell your wife, hey, listen, this is the money. I'm giving you the money. I need you to go get groceries here. I need you to do this, and I need you to do that. So you're still leading and telling her exactly what needs to happen with with the money you bringing in and the money she got coming in. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's important. But I had a question to ask y'all. I want to know what y'all think about this. I was on Clubhouse the other day, and they were saying that how black men, right? They were
niggas.
Exactly. They were saying that black men, they was like, they was like, black men are the only men who talk about two income families, and the white men, they take care of everything and they don't need their women to work. Now, do you think that's true or not? Because I think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
No,
that's BS with a capital B.
Wait. First of all, let's be clear. The white family started with the two income situation first.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You understand? Let's fucking be clear, because the reason why this shit happened is because of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
World War II happened. Almost all the fucking men had to be enlisted in the army, and they literally brought the women to the factory.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And then when the men came back from war, a lot of women got a taste for working outside the house.
Right.
And a lot of women stayed in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything kind of transpired from there, as far as, because a lot of things kind of changed when women came into the workforce, because there were more people in the workforce, the cost of labor actually went down.
Right.
So a whole bunch of things, happened. You understand? So let's understand that. See, I don't know.
I'm gonna interject with you right there, because you brought up a key point, and I love you brought up that point, because historically, like you said, during the World War II, women had to work more. The difference is, like you said, the key thing you said, white males came back home and started to work. The difference, though, when it comes to black males, first off, when the war was over and all that type of stuff happened, a lot of black males came back but didn't get jobs because there was still racism that still existed.
And a lot of white bitches took their fucking job.
Exactly. And then going forward, on top of that, You know what I mean? Like a lot of black males ended up incarcerated, you know what I mean, and all type of stuff like that. So we as black men, we always were in different eras when it comes to the black family. Traditionally,
right.
like you said, when that happened, white males came back and resumed that role and got contributions from the white woman. But black men, we didn't really get a chance to resume the role. Not saying that we didn't want to or we shouldn't, but we never got a chance to really resume that role effectively. We just recently got that role to resume that role in recent history. When I say recent, the past 20 or so years. So you got to understand, if 50, 60, 70 years passed and we just finally got that role back, we're still learning. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, part of the real sad truth is that in terms of a black woman, let's be honest, they had to endure being, to a certain extent, the head of the households for a long time in American history by no choice and by default. So we get it as black men. They tired. And then what happened was, when the feminist movement happened and they started getting jobs and they started going to college and more women's rights opened up, black women ran with it. Historically, when that whole thing happened, black women getting degrees, moving up in management, they ran with it. So they expected white women and other races to take, but no, black women ran with it. Problem that happened was that at that time, I'm not speaking for all black women, but problem that happened is they got those jobs, they got paid more money. And you add that with the fact that they was tired of being the head of household. Whether it's by default, whether it's by accident, whether it's by purpose, let's be honest, that all got lost in translation. They just knew they was tired. So what ended up happening was they started wanting to take more control of the relationship, because historically black men just haven't had the opportunity to lead a certain way, the way American society says. Exactly. And then they got carried away. And now it's starting to hit everybody, including the black woman, saying, like, hey, we actually need black men to take leadership. Hey, I actually need to take the step back. But now, as black men, we also face the part where it's just like, all right, you know, now you've been kind of treating me kind of sideways for the past 25 years, and now you realize you need me, and now we're in that weird phase. I mean, people don't want to talk about it, but that's where we at right now. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But that's my little two piece. You know?
Kayleen?
I mean, for me, what I would have to say is,
I mean, and you know, going back to, you know, black men always talking about 2 income, but white guys take care of everything. The white guys only need 1 income. Like, how you feel about that?
Well, here's how I feel about it, right? When it comes to white folks, right? When it comes to black folks, white folks from history had an advantage over black people. That's number one. So in order to compare something, it has to have equal measure, right? There was no equal measure between the two, right? So when it comes to white men, of course they were taking care of their household. So they made that the ideal way of the way things are supposed to go, right? And when it came to black men, because a lot of us were incarcerated, how are we going to take care of our black women? How are we going to take care of our home if we're not there to take care of our home? So then there's no equivalency at that point. There's no judgment at that point. Now, let's talk about it now that there's enough black men in the home, and there's still a lot of black men that's incarcerated. Don't get me wrong, but there's enough black men in the home to take care of their responsibilities, and there's enough white men in the home to take care of their responsibilities. So when it comes to it, I don't believe that the white man was taking care of his home and the black man wasn't taking care of his. It was the opportunity and the stance that each man were in to make that decision or to make that accusation in the first place. So that's where we have to go with it. You know, but no, they're not doing white men are not doing anything special. They always had a head start when it came to finances in America. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes from. That's where
redlining and all that shit, man.
Yeah, that's absolutely. That's absolutely. So that's really my opinion on it. You know,
that's facts. And on top of that, it's still today where, you know, things are set up for, if you are a white dude, you're going to probably have more opportunities or easier time to get opportunities than a black person. But also, do you think, even with that being said, do you think that there is, or I should say this, how much money does a man need to make to where they don't need to be 2 incomes, where he could just be like, look, I could take care of all this shit? Like, what's your thoughts on that though? Like, you know,
I mean, you know, in terms of you getting the real numbers, I mean, you know, you're considered poverty at 40K or below. You know what I mean? So as far as to run a household effectively, you know, one male needs to make like 70, 80K to run it effectively. You know what I mean? Anything below that, you're gonna struggle like hell. Then once you add in a kid or two in there, it's a crapshoot. So the truth is, if I'm being honest, if a dude made 80,000 and had one kid, you would be okay.
Right.
You could fall off at any given moment, but you would be okay. You know what I mean? But if the average person from college that gets a little bachelor's degree makes 40K, how are you going to be okay as a male? You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
So the truth is, you need at least 8K. But I mean, truth be told, you're going to need 100K and above if you have more than one kid to live comfortably. And the average person makes 40. So that's a big jump. That's a big jump. So you definitely got to be not an overachiever, but you definitely got to be super ambitious, on point, all the nine, which we all on this podcast are. But we're not. This is not the norm. You know what I mean? So
hold on one second. So all right, Lucario and I don't have kids. Rashidi, you got kids?
Yeah, I got a son. Yeah. And
Kayleen, you got kids?
I don't have any kids. No.
You don't have any kids. All right, because I was thinking that we could probably do a show, because we got a lot of guys that follow that have kids, and I was thinking probably the next show we could talk about the economics of raising children. You know what I'm saying? So I think that could be a good idea for the next topic. This could be a good part 2 to that, as far as looking at the 2-income household, what it takes. And then, because it's serious, like 2 incomes and you want to live comfortably as a, man and woman, that's cool. But when you start bringing kids into it, that's a whole other situation.
Dynamic. It's a different dynamic. Even for me, I don't have any kids. My girl, she has 2 children. I still look at them as my own though. And
well, nigga, you got kids. As far as finances, you got kids then.
Yes, as far as fun, yes, absolutely. 100%.
Well, as soon as you hear that fucking ice cream truck and mama not around, nigga, you gotta go get it. So funny.
No, for real, absolutely. Absolutely. So what I say that
we need Steve on this episode or the next episode, because Steve's like, how can they talk about this when they don't have a family? We need Steve to get his ass on here.
Yeah, Steve need to get on here. Facts.
The next episode when we talk about the family, we gotta get Steve on there. You feel what I'm saying?
Shout out to demandmindset.com.
Facts.
I'm sorry, Kay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I want to say to that note is that when it comes to for raising the household, when you want to add kids into the mix, right? Yeah. It is a different dynamic, right?
Right.
Let's say if it depends on if the wife is working or not. For me, for a household to be operating, or for the breadwinner, how much should that breadwinner have? Rashidi said at minimum 100K. In my opinion, at minimum 150 to 200,000 per year. Yeah, comfortably.
Yeah, comfortably. If you want to be comfortable and live a middle class to upper middle class lifestyle, that's more about the range, and that's why all these chicks is running around talking about, I need a high value 6-figure dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because truthfully, we talking about this 2-income shit, but truthfully, these chicks don't want to work.
Right.
No, they don't.
You understand? Truthfully, they don't want to work. And I mean, some of them do. It's a couple of chicks that like being out there and working and putting on a business suit and running around trying to boost their ego. And it's all right. Right. But deep down, like a down home feminine woman, she doesn't want to work. You understand what I'm saying? She wants to benefit from the plan of her man and, support him and do what she got to do. You understand what I'm saying? But I think, with this whole 2-income thing and, raising a home, raising a family, I think one of the most important things is, as a man, as a leader, is budgeting. You understand what I'm saying? And I've told the story before about how, I was in a situation with my woman, and she always made more money than me. You understand? And I set up the budget a certain way. And at first she couldn't understand it because she made more money than me. I did the budget based on percentage. You understand? I added up all of our income, and the budget basically shaked out to be a 60-40 situation. It was more like 50 something and 40 something, but let's just say 60-40. So she was looking at me like, well, why I got to add in, an extra 20%? I'm like, because you make an extra 20%. You understand what I'm saying? And so what we did was I did like a certain percentage in reference to all of our expenses, household expenses. And I covered everything. I covered, everything down to her hair and nails, everything. I wanted everything paid for within that budget. And so that budget also left us to have a look like we were talking about earlier. It also left us to still have a certain amount of money to put in our own personal accounts. You understand? So we had money going into a joint account. So we had whatever money left over. We could, after the checks came in from the jobs, we had money in our personal accounts. And again, I was the one leading this situation. You understand what I'm saying? And at first it was pretty daunting to her because she was like, well, it's just like what we were talking about. Like women make their own money and they feel like, well, I have say in this and I have say in that. And what do you mean? And when I showed her the breakdown, she really couldn't understand it.
Right.
You understand? Because she's like, this man is just controlling my finances, taking my money. And so, but as the weeks and months went by and paycheck after paycheck started coming in, and I was showing her, we're saving this amount of money, we're saving that amount of money, everything's paid for, life insurance, 401ks, all of the shit that was important was paid for. And we started having money left over because I set the shit up so organized, we was having money left over at the end of the month.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Well, within a couple of pay periods, we had like $600 to $800 to put towards a vacation. And we were putting money away for vacation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when she really saw all of that, it's like she was like, oh, snap. Like this dude know what he's talking about. And my hair and nails is done and the kids are okay. And because she had kids, by the way, the kids are okay. The house is all right. All the bills are paid and we just chilling. You understand what I'm saying? So I say that to say, it really doesn't, I don't think I feel like women should work if they interested in working. You understand? And again, I said this on another show that we did just today. I said, I don't care if I have $10 in my pocket, $10 billion in my pocket, or absolutely nothing in my pocket. I'm going to still lead the situation because of what's going on in here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to still lead the situation because of what's going on here. Because like Kaleem said, money understands logic. You understand? And naturally speaking, it's the man that thinks with logic.
Right.
And because I thought with logic, I was able to hold my family down, even though I made less than my woman. You understand? And remember, like I said, she was uncomfortable with the budget at first. Why? Because she was thinking emotionally.
Right.
You understand? But when I was able to tell her to calm down with your emotions and watch the logic unfold, and she saw it, that's when she was like, oh, snap. Like she really started to realize and trust the process and also trust the logical mind of her man that was leading the situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just want to say that, two incomes is cool and women working is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong. But the important part is the budgeting. And sometimes you may have a woman that knows how to budget better than you. But you still have to vet that process. You understand? You still have to, if you're gonna set it up, let her set up the money and all of that stuff, you still need to oversee that. Like, okay, let's see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how you breaking this down. Let's make sure we're all the bills are paid. Let's make sure we're still saving money. Let's make sure that all the things that we talk about with RKT appraisals is still getting taken care of, like life insurance policies and annuities and money market accounts and stocks and index funds. Let's make sure we're still investing. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where the leadership comes in. Even though she might be stronger at budgeting, you still have to have that leadership. Go ahead, Rashidi.
Yeah, and I love it. The reason why I want to circle back to you guys in the dating game, which you guys always talk about at the end of the day, that you just pretty much summon, put it all in summary. The woman has to get with your program. You know what I mean? Like that goes back to that. At the end of the day, Miles, you just went like, yeah, you were making less money, but you still controlled the situation, and she still allowed you to lead. You know what I mean? And because she allowed you to lead, you led her to the promised land. You know what I mean? With that said, I think some of the issues that women have, and it's rightful issues that as men, we have to be leaders also. Though. Like I think that is something that typically a lot of people talk about. You know what I mean? But we do got to be leaders too. So there's a lot of dudes out there that they're not necessarily leaders, and also maybe males that, and it's okay to be raised by your mother if your father's absent, whatever the case is. But sometimes I think it gets blurry between men that don't know how to be leaders and women see that example and they confuse that with all the men and other black men, since we're talking about, that topic. But it is something where, and it goes back to even the dating game and everything you guys cover, is that male has to be the alpha male, but that alpha male also has to have sense. Because you can have all the testosterone and huff and puff all you want, but if you really don't know how to budget and don't know how to lead, you can't expect the female to follow you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
I said this on another show. I was saying a woman doesn't just submit to a man; she also submits to the plan.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got to have a plan.
And that's fact.
Yeah. So look, it's 5:54, and I know a couple of us, we got some other meetings and some other things. So let's do the final thoughts, and then we could get up out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your final thoughts on this this topic? So is it going to be? I'll just say this: do you think that it's going to be forever like this from now up until 100 years from now, where it's going to have to be the two incomes? Or do you think it's going to go back to where it could be a one income thing? Or maybe it might need to be three incomes. Like the kids probably got to start getting jobs at like 10 years old or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, if I'm being honest,
one of my side pieces to get the third income popping. You feel me?
My 2 cents is one thing. So for right now, yeah, like you said, Mr. Lakari, right now it is that way where two incomes are needed. But let's be honest, history repeats itself. It's just that we're not in that other cycle right now. So history definitely repeats itself. It's going to come a time where kids got to do more. Because let's be honest, 30 years, 40 years, our parents and their parents, they had 7 kids and they did all the farm work and did all this extra little work. So history repeats itself. So it's coming back. It just ain't with this generation, this circle right now. We ain't a part of that one. So yes, I agree. Contact RKT Appraisals for all your financial needs. For the men out there that don't know how to handle finances, call us. We'll walk you through the process, how to get policies, how to handle finances, and lead your women and your families.
Exactly. RKT Appraisals will help you come up with a plan so you can get the woman to submit to your plan. You feel me?
I like it.
Kayleen?
Yeah, I mean, my last couple of words. Just like the market, that's what's going to happen in the future. It's going to go up and down. So. And my advice is to plan for the worst. Mm-hmm. So even if you have 2 incomes for the household, act as if it was 3. Like budget that way. You know what I'm saying? So the best way to create your future is to plan it. So the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Right. Fact. And I just want to say one thing real quick. We spoke about life insurance policies a few episodes ago, right? And I just want to point out, because I think only reason why I'm bringing up this story is not to disrespect anyone, but I think it's something that needs to be said because it's real, and it's a great example of why these things are important. But I spoke to Kay earlier, and he actually you know somebody personally whose relative passed, right? And the interesting part of it is that Kayleen, in the last few months, he's been talking to them and encouraging them to get a life insurance policy.
Right.
You understand? And that relative, like, I don't want to go into too much details because, like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I just want to show that it's a real situation. And that, that family member passed. And they were fairly young. You understand? They weren't even in their 60s or in their 70s. They were fairly young and they passed. You understand? And Kayleen was trying to, you might want to get this insurance policy, just in case, whatever. And now they're in the situation and they don't have it. They don't have a policy. You understand? So I just want to reiterate the realness of it and really encourage you guys. If you're thinking about any of this financial stuff, or if you just want to get some information, please call RKT Appraisals. Like, these guys know what they're talking about. Real talk. I'm in the middle of getting a life insurance policy with Kayleen right now. Yes or no, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. That is correct.
Exactly. Yep. You understand? I just filled out the information this week, and it's a very simple, easy process. He actually texted me the details of the coverage and the cost, and then he just called me up and asked me a couple of questions. It really took like 7 minutes, straight up and down. 7 minutes. You understand? And my policy is getting processed right now. You understand? Absolutely. So it's really easy, guys. Call these guys. These guys know what they're talking about. Let's get it going. Because remember, they talking all this Black Lives Matter shit. Black lives we could say Black Lives Matter, but Black lives are not going to matter until we got insurance policies attached to them like the other people got.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Because if everybody know that every nigga you see on the street got $1 million policy on their head, so if you kill me, somebody got to come up off $1 million. Trust me, the commissioner, police chief, whatever dude, he's gonna change some of those policies.
Right.
That's right.
You're gonna be like, all right, listen, we're gonna need you to start shooting these niggas in the leg because it's getting too expensive out here.
Fact.
You understand? So let's it's a real thing. And you know, that's my last words, man. Thank you.
Facts. So man, appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys next week at 4. And yeah, we out of here, people. All right. Make sure you guys go to rktappraisals.com, call them 973-420-5028, and we are out of here.